All right, welcome to the Not.a.prepper channel. I am Not.a.prepper. So I'm going to do a test with this Ecoflow solar panel, 220 watts. I'm going to use it to try to recharge my Ecoflow Delta 2. The Ecoflow Delta 2 is about a 1000 watt hour battery. So I have this 220 watt solar panel. I assumed, okay, maybe 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That it would take around 5 hours to fully charge my Ecoflow Delta 2. Obviously, that's not going to happen in this video. It does not do that. So here I'm just kind of pointing out it's fragile, precision glass products. There's some other little notes. Don't step on it. Don't let the kids try to climb on it. I currently do not have my solar panel in here right now. I just was filming this just for some notes. The back side here has some additional instructions. So when I bought this as a kit, in fact, I think I bought it off of Amazon, and I probably paid around $900 before tax, and I got one solar panel, and I got the Ecoflow Delta 2. And so here I'm pointing out that you can kind of angle it based off of where the sun is. In this video, I do not figure out the best angle for this. I never see a weight on here, but it's considerably heavier than what I thought it was going to be. I don't have a guess. I didn't get on a scale or anything to try to weigh it yet, but it's big, heavier than you would think. All right, so I have it set up outside, and I just kind of wanted to do some tests, see what it actually did. So right now I've got shadow on my solar panel, and here's me with my little camera filming it, going, I wonder how this is going to affect its solar input rating. So it's just looking at this, it's not quite half covered, maybe it's about a quarter covered. And I'm just noticing, and I'm questioning what this is going to do to the input. And now I'm going to walk around back. So for this particular video, I don't show myself trying to set this up. This is actually the first time I've ever set this thing up. I wasn't sure what it was going to do. So now I'm filming the front of my Ecoflow Delta 2. And just noticing here, I don't know if I can get a better focus on it. At this rate, in the middle it shows 1%. That's where I've got my battery at right now. It's kind of blurry. There we go. 40, 50 input watts coming in. At this rate, it would take 24, 25 hours to fully recharge this battery. But that's because I'm only getting between 40 and 50 input watts. That's considerably less. So in the previous little clip I showed you, it was almost a quarter covered. So I believe I'm going to go out there, adjust the solar panels, and try to make sure, yeah, here it is. So that's causing it to only receive approximately between 40 and 50 input watt hours. So here I'm just trying to point out, yeah, this is a problem, this is a problem, and this is a problem, and me standing there is a problem with how much sun this thing is actually getting. All right, so I've moved it. I've got no shadow on it. So I'm trying to figure out what, hopefully this will make the amount of input energy better. All right, just looking at this, it's managed to jump up to 3%. It looks like I'm getting about 194 watts coming in. Obviously not literally coming in at that point in time, but it's if it were at that for an hour, it's 194. At this rate, it would take about 6 hours. I had assumed it would take approximately 5 hours, so I'm already jumping up to 6. So I'm actually going inside, coming out, and checking on it every once in a while. So I notice now it's dropped to 132 input watts, saying it'll take 9 hours at this point. I'm at 8% charged, and it's, yeah, here it's 134, between 120, 140 input watts coming in. So I have to go check my solar panels and see what is up. All right, so about a third of one of those four folding panels is covered, and it dropped it down to, what were we, about 130 input watts. The maximum should be around 220, and that little bit of that little bit of shade dropped it considerably. I adjusted my panels. Now we're going to go check it. All right, now we're at 188 input watts. It managed to go from 1% to 10% now, still saying recharge time approximately 6 hours. So it's almost, I think at this point I have zero shade on it, and it's not even at 190 input watts. Okay, I'd gone inside, come back out, check on it again. I'm, in the 140s, 150s here. 31% charged. And still going to take approximately 6 hours to fully charge this. So I'm not sure exactly what time I filmed this one. Like I say, I started at about 10 o'clock in the morning. All right, so I'm assuming I'm going to go and check on my solar panels. I dropped considerably low there, down to the 100s. So there's obviously shadow or shade. So this tiny amount of shadow from a nearby tree is causing that much change into how much energy this is actually getting. So that little bit, and maybe the where the top support might be creating a little bit of shadow, but it seems unlikely. There's me just pointing out that I'm wondering if this is causing some of those fluctuations. So I'm going to adjust it again and then go look at my Ecoflow Delta 2. All right, moved it around a little bit. There's like two leaves on the solar panel, or the shadow of two leaves bouncing just a little bit. So at this point of the day, this thing was getting hot. I threw some gloves on so I could maneuver it around. Like I said, this thing is black, and it got considerably hot. So at some point in time here, I might have missed a clip, but we had some clouds go over us. And at this point, there are 0 input watts. I'd managed to get the battery up to 39%. So here's me filming it. This is how bright it is outside. There's no shadow. We're not really that dark, but there's enough of a cloud causing this to get 0 energy. And so what I'm starting to figure out with these solar panels is that you need direct sunlight, not light outside. You need direct sunlight to get this solar panel to absorb that energy and send the energy to your whatever solar battery. Mine is this Ecoflow Delta 2. So here I'm pointing up at the clouds. So this much cloud cover totally shut down the energy going into my Ecoflow Delta 2. It says not a lot of clouds. Of course, it's enough cloud cover that I can point a camera up and I can actually look up, where the sun is. But here's just another picture of, or another shot of, the solar panels are getting no sunlight. And because the solar panels are getting 0 direct sunlight, the Ecoflow Delta 2 is getting 0 energy. So you really do. If you're going to get these solar panels, you have to have them in direct sunlight. All right, clouds went away. I got some sunlight. The top portion here, I'm trying to point up here. This is where the support structure is. tiny amount of shadow, on this the left hand side. I'm trying to point at it. Okay, there we go. Tiny amount of shadow there. Let's go see what this does to the Ecoflow Delta 2. Okay, 181 input watts. Um, Not bad. It's not 200 and it's not 220 input watts, but compared to what I've been getting, at this rate, it would fully charge in about 4 hours. And 39% is where I've currently got my battery. Okay, later on in the day, it's about 50% charged. I'm only getting in the 70s as far as input watts go. At this rate, it would take 9 hours. Oh, there's the reason why. It's about 2/3 covered with tree shadow. I think I'm going to try to adjust it again to see what I can do. Okay, I don't know if I adjusted it here, but it looks like the sun is behind some clouds again. So I'm getting, again, 0 energy into my Ecoflow Delta 2. Oh, my bad. I stand corrected. I'm getting 20 input watts. If I'm getting 20 input watts into the Ecoflow Delta 2, it would take 99 hours to go from 50% to 100%. That's not good. All right, so still enough shadows in the day. Got it up to 52%, 0 input. At this point, I'm about to call it and say, you know what, I'm done with this. So, again, sun's blocked by clouds, zero input into the Ecoflow Delta 2 from the Ecoflow solar panels. So I'm a little disappointed at this point. All right, so at about this point, I started at about 10 in the morning, ran to about 4 in the afternoon. So in 6 hours, I got, a little over 50% of my Ecoflow Delta 2 recharged from this solar panel. I'm not going to stand here or try to fight with this thing longer during the day. So I don't want to hate on Ecoflow or their solar panels, but you would really need more than one set of solar panels. This was a 220 watt solar panel, and I literally never saw over about 194 input watts going into my Ecoflow Delta. So the Ecoflow Delta 2, again, is only a 1,000 watt battery. There's a lot of solar type batteries out there that are considerably more than a 1,000 watt. You would never, at this rate, you would never charge them in a single day. Not with one of these sets of solar panels here. So I'm not trying to hate on Ecoflow, but if you're wanting to get this set up, I've seen it on Amazon for around $1,000. If you want this particular setup, you really need to go for 2 sets of solar panels. One set of solar panels will not do it. If you get cloud cover, it shuts it down. If when the sun moves and you get shadows from trees and bushes, you're not going to get any energy. Another problem with this would be is if you're in an apartment complex and your windows or your deck or whatever doesn't face the sun, you're not going to get any energy. You have to have direct sunlight on these solar panels. And then I haven't found the best angle, based off the time of the day, but I don't have a great set. It's not set up the best. Maybe some people can get 220 watts being recorded into their solar battery. I'm not getting it with this. So again, if you're going to get one of these, you need 2. But if you don't have a place where you can actually get direct sunlight, these will never work for you. So I think that's about it. If you could like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.